There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
They talk about their cars, sing about their cars. Some people even look like their car. Whether it's an old car, new old car, fast car, family car, electric car, race car, two-wheel car, no-wheel car, or a car you know's parked around here somewhere. People who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small, some people tinker some degree between those two variables.
Whose voice is that?
And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name.
It's Kevin.
Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super. Because super is our middle name. Well, technically it's our first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. As I just wait for my screens to catch up. Welcome to the Supercheap Auto East Coast V8 series. Been a couple of weeks since we've been on, but this is round 9 coming from the one and only Interlagos circuit. It is Pro Series week, of course, the first of the Trueforce Enduro rounds be run here on Friday night. So plenty of co-drivers in existence in our field tonight. So looking forward to seeing how these guys are going. Just by myself, I'm John Van Reeve, of course. Mark Duggan enjoying a lovely holiday that's been well earned. I hope he's having a good time. Let's have a quick look at the points for those that haven't been here for a few weeks. As well, they can have a look and we can catch up what they look like. And of course, leading that is James Scott in the overall. We've applied the 2 drop rounds to that. James is leading quite handsomely from Zach Rattray White. He's only 2 points ahead of Jordan Ross. Thomas Freeman sitting in 3rd. Yeah, that's meant to be privateer. Sorry, Thomas. And he's on 988. Joe Marnie sitting a bit further back. Flick it over to take out the overall, get rid of the Super 2s. So the pro drivers is James Scott, Rattray White, Ross, Thomas Freeman, Jacob O'Reilly, Visma, Johnston, Hobson and Freer, and Justin Wallace rounding out the top 10 there. And the Super 2s, we got Tonkin 3 points ahead of Joe Marnie. Dave Coleman not too far behind. Jeff Thomas not too far behind. Then a big step back down to Troy Stonestreet, who should be back with us soon from his holiday. So keep an eye out for Troy. He'll be knocking on a few podiums, I think. And then we go to the vets, where Jeff Thomas has a pretty commanding lead in that field as well. So definitely a fair bit happening in that sense. These boys at the moment just finishing off their practice session. Have a quick look at the circuit. Of course, starts on the start-finish straight. Very famous F1 track here at Interlagos. We come down the main straightaway into what's known as the Centre S, and then we come out through Curva de Sol onto the Reta Rapostia, down the back straight, and then we descend into Descenda de Lagos, so we descend into the lakes, or what's left of the lake, and then we come back up the hill into Ferradura, through Curva de la Hina, and then we go through the very tight, twisty complex of the circuit, through 8, 9, up into Bico de Patio, and then we come through 11, 12, very fast corner in second gear, and then we head back up the hill through 13, through 14 and 15, back across start-finish straight. Pretty much one long straightaway with a big curve from 12 to the start-finish line. Plenty of opportunity then to overtake coming back down into turn 1. These boys will well and truly all be on their game tonight, I think. Just double checking things are working for me. I think it might be a little bit of an issue of restream. We're definitely up and running, so great to have a few people back watching again. Looking forward to this one. And of course, just getting myself organised and looking forward to it. So of course, slightly interesting field tonight. Of course, as I said, it's Pro Series week, and being the Enduro, we've got quite a few of the Enduro co-drivers running tonight, so a few names to keep an eye out for there. The likes of Ben Faulkner, Lewis Greathead also has got a drive, I believe. Hayden Sell is in the server this evening. And, of course, we've got Warboys. He's racing. Kyle Stokes. He's got the gig racing, I think, for Synergy Sim Racing in the Pro Series. Ty Delaney's with us this evening as well. So really looking forward to seeing how a few of these boys rock and roll. Anyway, we're just about ready to go to practice for another 5 minutes. And we'll be all ready to rock. So just an interesting circuit. Ben Faulkner, of course, with Vermeulen Motorsports. And just a few little SDK gremlins this evening. So I apologise for that with the overlays. Let's see if I can get them up and running and sorted. And of course, if you are watching at home, you want to come and join me as a co-commentator, jump in the Discord channel. I'll drag you in. So that's better. That is working again. So yeah, a few interesting ones. Jacob O'Reilly sitting in second. Adam Briggs sitting in there. No James Scott this evening. That is an interesting case at the moment. So looking forward to seeing how that plays out. Teo Serrano's in the server with Zach Rattray White as well. So it's going to be very interesting. Of course, the server starting 5 minutes early this evening due to the update from iRacing this evening. And tonight's race, of course, is only 150 kilometres. So it's really just a sprint, but an opportunity for the co-drivers to get some laps in and an opportunity for us to have a good look at how these boys are travelling. We haven't had the opportunity due to my work commitments for the last 2 weeks to be on track with them. One of the great little circuits, this one, as I said before, always like cars coming here and racing. And these boys all keen, I think, to make their mark at this place, particularly for the Pro Series here on Friday night. Really looking forward to that one. We're basically talking the elite, best of the best boys racing first of their Enduros. Circuit that hasn't been used for Enduros for V8's before. The Vets boys were here a little while back and it was some tough racing around this place. And I reckon the Pro Series lads will find it hard. You really have to work hard to get yourself into position where you need to be. So looking forward to seeing how we go. It'll be interesting to see how these boys play it out. We got a special guest coming in to Thingo for qualifying. We'll see how he goes. Mr. Warboys, how are you?
Hello.
Very loud. I'll turn you down a little bit. Okay, start a quali, mate. What are you thinking here?
Oh, am I in the broadcast already?
Yep. Yeah, no mucking around.
No mucking around. Well, I've done a little bit of practice, but I haven't done any qualification. I might not even do quali.
You might not.
Do my normal stuff. Do my normal stuff in the rear, obviously. Just to get some practice laps in.
Of course, it's going to be a tough track. Just looking at Coleman already playing funny buggers going wide down at the Lagos corner. And it's going to be a really tricky track, I think. It's not the widest of tracks that we race on. So I think it's going to be a really interesting track in qualifying to get good space and be in the right place, because you will want that toe going up over the start-finish straight as well.
Yeah, 100%. During Scots, a lot of waiting around, as we sort of see from the Pro Series and other things like that. Yeah, the last corners probably made it really congested, trying to find a nice toe. But usually everyone behaves, but I guess we'll find out.
And of course, the real battle is really just staying in sync. Quite a few guys have tried running out of sync, which is very dangerous thing to do. Getting yourself in a situation where you will run into the back of that flock of cars. As you see, the boys about to head off. And a couple of names we haven't seen for a while. Kyle Stokes is on circuit. Just trying to find someone to jump onto. Dylan Rudd, where's he? In centre at the moment. Got James Scott tucked up behind him, so James did sneak in the server there late. Retro White already setting a purple sector first, but we'll see how the Lobs boys come as they head through. Of course.
The Lobs boys have been pretty quick. They seem to be really on top of everything at the moment.
Yeah, definitely a powerhouse in the V8 scene. Going to turn into a bit of a battle between themselves, I think, in coming towards the end of the season. Should be interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll start getting the elbows out once they're free to race or not. Being a new team, it'll be interesting to see how that dynamic plays out.
As Retro White is going to be the first one to cross the line. Zach, of course, was on the Pro Series podcast last week talking about the changes in the team that they've had as well. He sets the benchmark with a 131.685. Hobson with a 1 purple sector. O'Reilly, the whole heap of green sectors. He's going to jump into P2. Hobson into P3. Ben Faulkner will be the man to watch. Blakey, we haven't raced against him for a very long time.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see how Ben works. He's been showing some good speed in the practice sessions that have been up, so keen to see how he goes.
We're a long way from the old slideways days. And of course, Jordan Ross hasn't set himself an ideal time. He's sitting down in 7th. So he's another driver that steps up when we get to Enduro season, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes. And so at the moment, Retro White, O'Reilly, Hobson, James Scott in 4th, Ben Faulkner in 5th, Dylan Rudd in 6th. So Faulkner has split the 2 Lobs boys. Aidan Cale doing well. Aidan sitting in 8th at the moment. He's a guy who's been on the improve very dramatically.
Already starting to find the traffic.
Yep. And just interesting. Looks like Aidan Cale's changed teams. Running a Vermeulen livery, I believe. I'm correct. There you go. And what's Reg?
Having a bit of a
Yeah, definitely have been. I think they've definitely, from losing the likes of Gilliam in that little reshuffle with the Doohan sponsorship, I think they've done pretty well to bounce back from that.
Zach and Jacob seem to have really taken over that leadership role when it probably comes to setups and stuff, so seem to be on it. Obviously at the moment up the front, at the top of the time sheets there. James of late seems to be struggling in qualifying trim, but he's always got great race pace, so we'll see if that continues.
Yeah, they definitely come on a Tuesday night testing out some strats and also playing with their setups a bit. And then I think if it's not a Pro Series week, James does he calls it the plug and play, grabs a hairy Cedo set and just jumps on the track, makes a few tweaks, and by the time we get to race time, he's got it sorted. it definitely doesn't hurt. Mr. McNamara saying I've got you very low now. Okay, I'll turn him back up. You'd blow my ears. There we go. That might be a bit better.
Lovely.
Yeah. After all these years, your dad's saying he can't hear you.
Usually complaining they can hear me too much.
So the boys about to shoot off again on their next lap. As Rattray White leading the charge.
Looks like Hayden Sell has just been disqualified from qualifying, towing without permission.
Oh, that one. Of course, Hayden just jumping in as a co-driver, getting a run, so probably not fully aware of the regs. But probably be aware of it now for Thursday night at least anyway. Same rules apply in the Pro Series as here. Only variation is time penalties in the Pro Series versus points penalties. Looks like he's being balked a little bit here by the car in front. Doesn't look like anyone's going much quicker. Of course, track temp is 31 degrees, so it's not overly hot. I think we're looking at roughly about the same weather on Friday.
Yeah, for a 31 degree track, it's actually got quite a lot of grip on it. Usually once you sort of start getting over 25 degrees, you start to feel a bit of the grip start to go away, but not feeling too bad.
That's not a bad lap for Zach. It didn't improve. Let's just have a look who else is coming through at the moment. Teo about to set his first time. He puts himself up into 13th. He'd be happy with that. Vlasborn still hasn't set a time. Warboys or Visma hasn't set a time either, or Freeman or Mascord. Of course, Matty Mascord, an Castrian. He is looking to running vets next year. Already pretty excited about January. Can't come quick enough for him. And of course, Blake, you've still been doing those sensational track guides for the boys in vets as well, mate. I know they all appreciate it.
Yeah, trying to give back where I can. Yeah, work keeps me pretty busy now. I'm coming home pretty knackered, running around the hospital all day. So get on the sim nice and early, and yeah, about the only way I can sort of help out at the moment. So
look, the lads are appreciating it. They've got a lot of talk about how great they are.
As long as a few people are, learning something or picking up a few tricks, I'm more than happy to keep doing them.
There's a few guys I've seen get a lot quicker this season, and I think they're attributing it to the advice you've been giving. So, it's about to see Teo into the lane. So basically, these boys be coming around for one more crack at it. Clock starting to tick down. Only got 4 minutes left in this quali session.
Oh, I see we got young Ty Delaney back as well, which is cool.
Yeah, the Minnow's out there. He's sitting in 8th at the moment. Driving very well. And
Yeah, one to watch out for next year, I'd say, come Pro Series time.
And also getting on the front foot, he is coming on board as part of the race control team in vets next season to increase his knowledge. It'd be good to see him wanting to learn more about how it all works and what happens.
Yeah, it's good to get both sides of, you know, how the racing is done. It also helps improve your own racecraft once you sort of realise how race control goes about it and acts and thinks during a race. Slightly changes your mentality of how you might attack a pass or something along those lines. Obviously you still race as hard as you can, but you know, you end up, yeah, being more aware, I guess, of what's happening around you instead of just going for a move and praying that it'll stick. It becomes a more calculated move.
Yeah, definitely a go. A bit of contact there. I got 3 or 4 cars off. Just trying to see what happened. I think Jordan Ross was involved in that. Let's go on to the replay. What's happened here? Jordan's come round. The car's braked in front of him. There's been a nudge. And definitely a little bit of action. Someone else in the wall there as well.
Hobo requesting a tow.
Hobo is sitting there going nowhere. Out of turn 12. That was a fair nudge. I know that'll be the end of his qualifying session. O'Reilly, Retro White. Whether he's got time to get around, it'll be interesting to see. These boys won't want to dilly-dally. Only got a minute and a half. There's Faulkner. Faulkner's involved in that. He's laid up as well. That was one of the other ones involved in that incident. This is interesting. 2 cars waiting for a tow. I'm sure Richie's giving to them now. Yep. Not like Hobbo to be involved in an incident like that.
Yeah.
James Scott in the lane. I don't think we're going to see him go any further. Dylan O'Shea's another one I expect to get a little bit quicker. Another driver that's matured over the last couple of seasons. Driving very well at the moment. Another one of the young guns out of the 9.5 Sim Sport stable. The old El Supremo mentor, Sean McNamara, doing a great job with that group at the moment.
Yeah, they're always very clean and respectful drivers, the 9.5 guys. I always love racing against them.
So at the moment at the Hayden Cell, who towed without permission, hasn't set a time. Thomas Freeman hasn't set a time. Blake Warboys hasn't set a time. Too busy yapping, I believe. Zach Flassbaum is on the clock in 22nd. Reg James in 21st. Jeff Thomas is out on track as well. See how he goes. Steve Tonkin, Matty Masgood, Kyle Stokes, Coleman, Visma, Greathead O'Shea, who I think will go up into the top 10 on this lap. Oh, Warboys is on track. Sneaky.
Sneaky, but I've gotten off track.
And the clock has ticked over, so these boys are all on their final lap. And out to see. Dylan O'Shea is going to come across the line. No, he's into the lane. Retro White's into the lane. I think they're just about all done here, I think. They just wait for the clock to tick over. You want to stay in here when you go back to Reg?
I can stay in here. I'll do my best Nathan Brown impersonation.
I won't get you to talk the first lap. Anyway, we'll see how we rock and roll this one. Big shout out to Pete Verme in the chat as well. Great to have Pete out there. So just waiting for Jeff Thomas and the server to time out, and we'll have a look at our starting grid. And it just clicks over now. Let's hit the magic button. So on pole, we have here we go. On pole, we have Zach Rattray Wright from Vermeulen Esports with a 1:31.685, lining up alongside him as his teammate Jacob O'Reilly, who was 0.03 of a second behind. The second row, we have Brenton Hobson from Synergy Sim Racing, lining up alongside James Scott from Lobs Esports. And on the third row, we have Ben Faulkner from Vermeulen Motorsports, lining up alongside Dylan Rudd from Lobs. On the fourth row is Jordan Ross, the boss from Synergy Sim Racing, lining up alongside Vermeulen's Teo Serrano. Great qualifying effort from him there. In ninth, we have Ty Delaney from Fishy Motorsports, and then Damien Johnston from Synergy Sim Racing in 10th. On the sixth row, we've got Aidan Cale, who I think is now with Vermeulen. I'll have to fix my graphics up with that change. And Adam Briggs from Synergy Sim Racing in 12th. And over the page, we go to Dylan O'Shea from 95 Sim Sports, lining up with Lewis Greathead from Vermeulen. Anthony Visma from Accelerate Sim Racing is 15th, who lines up alongside Dave Coleman from Fishy Motorsports. Keep an eye on that battle there. Kyle Stokes from Synergy Sim Racing is 17th, alongside Jeff Thomas from JWM Sim Sports. In 19th, we've got the Nova Castrian Matty Mascord from Synergy Sim Racing, lining up alongside JWM's Steve Tonkin. And then in 21st, we have Reg James from WK&P, lining up alongside Zachary Vlasbom from Vermeulen Motorsports. Then we have Thomas Freeman, who didn't set a time, lining up alongside Hayden Sell, who was disqualified for towing. And then we also have Blake Warboys, who didn't set a time because he was too busy talking. And then Matt McMillan is our safety car driver in race control, and Richard Barella is our race controller. And we'll just start pressing a few buttons here, getting ourselves organised. And what are you thinking at this stage, Blake?
I'm thinking it's a high-quality field, that's for sure. Not over the 30 cars or whatever that we're usually come accustomed to when it comes to this sort of time with a Pro Series race up. But definitely the talent is there, so it'll be an interesting battle up the front. Coming through the field as well will be very tricky. But yeah, looking for a clean start and hopefully not going 4 wide into turn 1 would be very nice.
Yeah, definitely a lot of cars in front of you there, mate. Just having a quick look on your bonnet. And then, of course, uphill, you're in the flat section. The boys in front of you are starting uphill. So you do get that little bit better launch. Which is another
a little bit better, but with all the talk of the V8, usually, yeah, it all comes down to how you use that right foot.
Righto. I'll let you go for a minute because we're about to tick.
Rightio.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Lights are coming on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Green flag.
Lights out. We're racing. It's a good start from Rattray White. O'Reilly tucks in behind. Scott looking up the ins to the outside. Looks like it's all going to be 2x2 through the first corner. Looking a little bit further back. It all looks fairly clear as well, so a good start by everybody at the moment. But it is Zach Rattray White already out to 6/10. So definitely off to a good start. O'Reilly, Scott, Rudd is up 2 spots. Hobson's the big loser. He's down 2. Serrano's up 2. Ross is equal. A couple of guys going wide there through the corner, but very balanced up the front. And Faulkner down 15 spots, so not sure what's happened there. Nothing showing up on my Ben Faulkner, I think, chose to start in pit lane. I think might be the story there. Not sure why. But Rattray White doing very well, working our way back through O'Reilly. James Scott sitting in third. He'll be waiting his time. Of course, this is only a 35-lap race. It's short, 2 compulsory pit stops. These boys will be busy. And Rattray White leads the first lap. Gordon Ross tucked right up in the pack here. To make a move on Teo Serrano. A little bit of a gap breaking in front there. Hey, Ross. Has a car up alongside. That's O'Shea through. Great move from Dylan. That's another one. Ross drops back. And Scott. So it's 2 Vermeulen cars leading the 2 Lobs Esports entries. And then we have Brenton Hobson in 5th, who lost 2 spots early. That group of 5 cars have pulled away a second now from Teo Serrano. Back, he then has Dylan O'Shea, Jordan Ross, Damien Johnson, Adam Briggs, Cale Delaney, Bismarck, Greathead, Kyle Stokes. Everybody still very tightly bunched. So 2 laps in the books. O'Shea looking to make a move on Serrano now and gets the job done through turn 1. Ross has a look at the end of the centre complex.
Whoa. Around we go.
Warboys gone backwards. Let's have a look at that one. That's with Matty Mascord. So not sure what's happened here. Into the replay. Yeah, I think Mascord's the unlucky victim. One of the JWM cars. Probably didn't realise you were inside. I think it might have been Steve Tonkin.
Yeah, probably wasn't quite close enough. So trying to get out of it, and then felt like I got a bump, but it could have just been me also over the curb too much. So
yeah, I think a little bit of a bump just afterwards from Mascord from behind. I'd probably say, yeah, you probably, it's a tough one because he was trying to come in. He was playing with someone else, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
With someone else's battle.
Yeah. Definitely a tricky situation, that.
That's why we got Richie. He'll sort it out.
Yeah, Richie will sort it out.
And in the meantime, Rattray White's now got himself out to 8/10. James Scott has got past O'Reilly. Dylan Rudd in 4th. Hobson in 5th. O'Shea is coming. He's up 7 spots, but he's 1.3 back. We did say that gap was going to open up. Rattray White now, he's got to run and run hard because Scott will be coming. O'Reilly's got to latch onto the back here and hang on. And Rudd now gets through on O'Reilly. Now these boys are coming. Speaking of coming, Adam Briggs moves up 1 on Jordan Ross. Oh, 3 Synergy cars in a row here. And Dylan Rudd has O'Reilly still close behind. And of course, if you're doing a split race strategy, it's lap 11, lap 12 would be where you'd be looking for these guys to come in for their first compulsory. No, Riley's not going to let him go. Rudd's still got to work for this. And he's going to jump back, check on the other crowd favourite, Dave Coleman, in a slight lock-up. Looks like Vlasbom. And Coleman getting fairly aggressive. This isn't over. Coleman, power drifting. Hang on, Dave. Not quite. Into the fence. Can he get himself out of there? That is not a great spot to be. Turn 2, car and fence.
Yeah, not the best spot there.
That's what I'd tell you that. Before I get in trouble for giving stuff away. And Coleman's got it going again. That's a free spot for you, bloke.
Yeah. Making up spots already.
And back up the front, Scott is only 4/10 behind. A Rattray White definitely having to do a bit of work here. And just gonna keep an eye. James Scott here would be working extremely hard. Dave Coleman involved in another incident. It's going to go to Supercheap Auto replay. What's happened here? I'd say the car's probably not handling too well. I'd say that's what it is. And around she goes. Yeah, look at that front wheel. It is not straight at all. Dave would be loving that. At the moment, Rattray White still holding off the hard-charging James Scott. Dylan Rudd is 8/10 back with O'Reilly behind. Adam Briggs is the man moving forward. So after this lead of 6 cars, we then have 2.5 seconds back to Serrano. And a few boys making a few moves. Jordan Ross in that Synergy train, being protected, I think, by his teammates. And, of course, Aidan Cale running the Vermeulen livery, tucked up back there a little bit. So Joe Marnie might be able to shed some light on that one. Is it true? Is he with Vermeulen? I think he was racing in the Race on Oz team colours. Go away for 2 weeks and the world changes.
Yeah, that's normal in motorsport.
Yep. Look at F1, they're now saying Nikita Mazepan could be back next season.
Oh, I hope not. Oh, that would ruin it.
Well, apparently, High-Tech are buying Alpine or merging with Alpine, and High-Tech are heavily funded by Kazakh billionaire who's friends with the Mazepin family. So that's supposedly the story.
Interesting.
Yeah, kind of hope not. It'd be nice to see Jack Doohan in that seat.
Yeah, it would be good to see another Aussie in the seat in Formula 1. Having 3 in there would be lovely. Oh, technically 5. We include Bottas.
Yeah, we do.
4.
Nothing like the VB.
Yes.
And he's going to step back to O'Shea. He's caught up to Hobson now. He's closed that gap right down. That's kind of a battle of 3s here. The lead 3, the next 3. And then we come back. Aidan Cale, he's still fighting very hard with John Stone. This pack here fairly well bundled up. And Visma on the back of it as well. Let's get the ticker going. Another one of the Vermeulen drives. I think Lewis has got a co-driver seat as well for Friday night.
Yes, I believe I've seen his name listed. Good to see.
Rattray White still leading out James Scott. I reckon James is sitting behind, practicing a bit of fuel saving, I reckon, at the moment. It'll be a very interesting track too, because I think off tracks is easy to get around this place.
Yeah, very easy. They've tightened up a few areas where we used to be able to use a lot of exit. And then they've sort of relaxed other areas, so yeah, finding limits early days was a bit, not difficult, but interesting.
James closed that gap down to 2/10. Is he going to look for the draft? Is this the lap he's going to make the move? Car accelerates up into sixth gear now. Tucked up behind in the slipstream. Comes to the inside and makes it look very easy in the end. So new race leader, James Scott. Jack Rattray White in second, Dylan Rudd tucking up behind a bit closer. And then a second back now to O'Reilly. He's battling with Hobson and O'Shea. Then 4 seconds back to Serrano. And of course, I'm just going to check on this little battle here. This bloke, he is doing all right. He's up 3 spots. Just in front of Reg James.
Yeah, caught one of the up-and-comers in the split 3 of vets. But he was pretty nice to me. He did let me through.
Well, you got Tonky in front of you now, mate. You're going to have to put the nose down. And then you got a bit of work to get the Thomas. And if you get the Thomas, then you're on the back of a major pack there for a little bit.
Yeah, it'd be good to see what sort of times I can do with a tow.
Yeah. We'll jump back up, checking our mate Mr. Ross. So these boys, Briggsy, Ross, Johnstone, Kale, and then after that we've got the Viz, Lewis Greathead, Ty Delaney. Fairly largest group. And just waiting to see what Briggs can do. He's sort of been stuck behind Serrano. He's dropping away from that group in front with Hobson, O'Shea and O'Reilly. So plenty of work to do here for the boys. And of course, in the Enduros, 500k race, the old fuel saving will be a big play around this place, I think.
Yeah, definitely become handy. It's quite easy to save a bit of fuel down that long start-finish straight when you've got a nice tow. A bit tricky through the rest of the track though, because you're sort of driving uphill for quite a lot of your acceleration zones.
And the circuit, very easy to get wheel spin coming out of a lot of corners as well. In terms of that.
Yeah, with all the off-cambered corners or on-cambered corners, very easy to light the rear up.
Jordan nicely in here. We're going to make a move this time. Briggsy to the inside. Briggs is through on Serrano. Ross will be the next man in line. Let's see what Briggs can do now that he's got his nose in front. Serrano not letting him run away though, tucked right up behind. You pull out for a move. No, he doesn't. So Briggs needs to hold off, but here comes Ross. Oh, Jordan having a good hard look there. There's a tucked back in.
Looks like Kyle Stokes is our first taker for a pit stop.
Yes, Stokes and Freeman have been in. Coleman, of course, been in, hasn't come back out. Car sustained a reasonable amount of damage early on. And these guys still all tightly bunched. Can Serrano come back at Briggs? Ross probably not quite close enough. Serrano goes to the inside. And just like that, he hangs onto it, but Briggs is going to try and fight him back through turn 2. Gets a job done. Ross pokes his nose in turn 2. Puts him to the outside for 3. And he's tucked right up behind now. He's going to get the run. Coming down the hill, can't quite get up alongside. Ross trying to have a look though. Oh, this is great driving from these two boys. Side by side, heading up the hill. And Ross yields going through the fast corner and then looks to come back at him again. Very difficult part of the circuit. You can see this is costing them time. Briggs is pulling away. The rest of the pack behind, bunching up. But Ross not giving up on this. Needs to get up close, coming through the next corner. And then use that toe down into 1. Ross shows the nose. He's going to have a look here, though. Now we're going to go too wide up the hill. Tucks back in behind. Needs to use the draft. Doing it coming into turn 1. That is where you'll get the job done. And make it easy. Fuel can peel off into the pits. That's Serrano, Johnstone, Kale and Visma. And another interesting fun fact for this place too is you're coming into that pit lane at 240, 250 k's an hour. It does take some skill to pull it up and not get penalised. But our race leader is still James Scott after that little battle. Zach Rattray White, 3/10 behind. Dylan Rudd, 5. How'd you go? Did you get pinged?
Nah.
Sounds like you were close.
I forgot to adjust my fuel, but that's all right.
No need to worry about the next one then.
Yeah, we only really needed about 7.5, 8 litres, so... It'll be interesting to see if people take tyres or not in their second stop, or if they take tyres for their first stop.
Yeah, I was thinking that. If you only got to put 7 odd litres in, instead of the old 1 litre up on the jacks, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Like 35 laps is really a little bit more than what one stint would be on the day, so on Friday night, so you'd be practicing, if you know what I mean, as Rattray White heads down the lane. That now has Scott, Rudd, O'Reilly, Hobson, O'Shea, Briggs, Ross, Greathead. So the first of our stopped cars at the moment on track is Damien Johnstone. And of note, Warboys is now up into 19th. They jumped a few of the JWM boys in that stop. Delaney in coming out. He'll come back out in 12th. Rattray White he's back out on track after that earlier stop. His last lap was a 1:34.43, and the last lap for Scott and that group was a 1:33.2. So he hasn't really got much pace coming out of that car at the moment. Of course, a tow track like we do have on the front straight at this place, you do probably want to be in a pack of cars here at the moment, doing all the hard work himself. As James Scott now heads down the straightaway again. They don't come in. O'Reilly stays out with them. And so does Hobson. Roadhead comes in. He's going to jump on with Delaney. Delaney tucked up behind Cale at the moment. Running the tradie paints livery at the moment. I thought it'd be one of the fishy lives, but and so he's going to get the job done on Cale here into turn one. Nice move from the young fish. Kyle Stokes is too wide as well. He's getting passed by Vlasbom. A few moves happening around the place. Serrano under pressure from Johnstone now. All right, so Damien having a crack. As the race leaders, we'll see if they come in this time. Lap 15 to 35. Only 20 to go. Right, they're all going to continue. They're definitely turning into a race of two halves here with Scott, Rudd, O'Reilly, Hobson, O'Shea, Briggs, Ross yet to make their first stop. And the rest of the field from Rattray White down, getting their stops done. Let's have a quick look at their pit times. So you weren't the worst, Blake. Freeman took on 14 seconds. You were stopped for 10.4.
Okay.
Stokes in front of you stopped for 9.2. Everyone else was 9.7 or 10. With Visma stopping for 12. So you're pretty much line ball with the rest of the pack. And of course, we'll have a look here. We can see Rattray White stopped 2 laps ago, Serrano 3. So definitely some interesting strategy unfolding here with the top 7 cars still not stopping. And of course, if they are using this as a warm-up for Friday night, it would be a case of probably getting a full run, full stint out of the car. They jump on board with the Viz. He's tucked up behind Cale and has Greathead and Faulkner tucked up behind him. So bit of a battle. Here comes Anthony. Nicely gets the job done there. Great little move. O'Reilly in the lane now. Faulkner tucked up behind this battle. Not quite getting the run that he wanted. Oh, big dive there. Beautifully done. Can he hang on to it though? See if Kale can come back. Looks like he's got it done though. And just going to check on James Scott. That's 17 to 35. And the car looking very stable as he comes in the lane this time. So does Rudd and Hobson and O'Shea. So that's our leading group with Briggs and Ross. He's going to keep going. Oh, Jordan doesn't follow the pack. We'll see how that plays out. Keeping an eye on Rattray White now as he's moving back through this group. And he's going to come out ahead of James Scott. So the undercut is paid against the long stop. We'll see what Scott and Rudd can do here now with fresh tyres. And then, of course, one of the great things about the 2 compulsory pit stops is it all unravels itself after the next round of stops.
Be interesting to see the pace the Lobs cars have now over Zach. With that overcut, they should have some pretty good pace over him.
Yeah.
Tyre deg's pretty high around here.
Yeah, we'll definitely have a look at that in a lap's time. I know what you're talking about, Sean McNamara. Definitely happening very well here. Jordan Ross now comes into the lane. Rattray White continues on with the lead from Scott and Rudd. And then O'Reilly, of course, with O'Shea. Going to jump back on with Ty Delaney. He's in a good little fight here, trying to make a move on Johnstone. And Serrano just in front of these boys. And Blakey Warboy's in a bit of a battle with Kyle Stokes.
Yeah, finally caught up to some cars, which is nice. Got past Freeman a couple of laps ago, but he just sort of let us go there, which was nice of him. We'll see what we can do now.
Oh, don't worry, we're watching.
The pack ahead's looking very feisty.
Yeah, that's that big group that I reckon you could get yourself into. Of course, that's that group with Anthony Visma, Faulkner, Kale.
Starting to see a lot of lockups.
Might have to ditch you for a minute. Kale just lost a spot. And Adam Briggs is under pressure. James Scott, Rattray White, side by side into turn 1. Don't want to be too wide there. This is going to be interesting. In turn 3. Rattray White hanging tough with Scott here. Great run down the straightaway. Bit of a tap. Not too much in it. A little bit of a tap back. Not too much in that either. This is some great hard racing up the front here. And of course, this has brought Rudd right up into this as well. And, I wouldn't have thought you'd get the move done there, but he has. Scott definitely managed to get his nose just tucked in. Rudd going to have a look now. And that's opening a gap up a little bit for Scott. And O'Reilly wanting a bit of this action as well. Great little four-way battle, 2x2 with the Mullen boys and the Lobs Esports lads here. Lap 20 or 35. Of course, only 150k race tonight due to server updates at 10 o'clock. And what does Rudd do here? Does he pull out? He gets big swing in. Very subtle fake by Rattray White early. Rudd going the aggressive move. Hangs tight through turn 2. And looks like he'll have the drive out of 3. Goes to the inside to protect. Some great hard racing here from Rattray White. And it looks like Rudd will get his way through. What can O'Reilly do though? Can he get in this battle? Definitely some good feisty racing. And he's going to come back to that next pack. And see Delaney latched onto the back of Johnstone now with Ross and Serrano in front. Jordan Ross getting the job done on Serrano. Serrano fighting back here, side by side down the main straightaway. Ross getting shuffled back behind again. Can he come and get the drive out of the draft? And it looks like Ross is going to hang on to that position for now. Dylan O'Shea in for his second stop. And he's going to come a bit further back. War Boys is now lashed onto the back of Lasbom. And Kale just in front.
And we'll see what we can do with these two ahead of us. We're running a bit wide ahead.
Yeah, good drive out of the corner.
Looks like they're starting to get a little bit loose with the rear of the car.
But the thing is,
Seem to be running a lower wing than I am.
do you have the drive? This is the question. Oh, he's got the flow. He's pulled out. Too wide. Oh, he's going to have to hang tough. Try and keep the nose in for the next corner. Still too wide. Great driving there from both cars. Now it's a drag down into the next corner. And great side-by-side driving. I'm hanging onto that one. They're going to get caught out wide up top of the hill here. Harry's you out wide, you tuck back in. Look for the over and under. Double back. Can you hang tough for the next one? That is the question. You had a little bit of wheel spin coming out of that. Got your nose through this time. Nice work, Mr. Warboys.
It's nice when you can go side by side for almost a full lap with someone.
Yeah.
But now the tyres are hot, so let's see if we can get a good drive here. Could be back on into turn one.
A little bit of a gap. Slowly closing.
He's pitting.
He's pitting. That solves that for you. And a few others in the lane as well. Teo Serrano. O'Shea hasn't come back out. Adam Briggs, we're going to jump now. He's tucked right up behind, or has Jordan Ross tucked right up behind him. We see this quite regularly, Ross and Briggs. Close formation. Some good driving there. Just going back up with Rattray White. He has his teammate tucked up behind him. So lead we've got at the moment, Scott, Rudd, Rattray White, O'Reilly, Hobson, Briggs, Ross, Johnstone, Delaney, Greathord in 10th. Starting to see a couple of the guys roll out their second stops. So Johnston, Kale, Stokes and Warboys in the lane. Hayden Sell back out on track. He's having a good little battle with Reggie James. And just disappeared on me there. Not sure what happened with that one, but he's back. Side by side. And he is through. Zach Glassbaum coming out of the lane with Kale and Stokes. Of course, Kale being passed by Warboys in that pit stop as well.
They seem to be stopped in these pit blocks for quite a while there, which is surprising.
Yes, definitely.
Not long enough to be a penalty though.
It's all right. Joe Marnie wants you to dedicate that move to him.
Okay.
One for the race on Oz, boys. James Scott, for late 10ths ahead of Dylan Rudd. Rattray White's dropped back off a little bit. We've seen O'Reilly go in for the stop a lap earlier. We've got Faulkner, Visma, Greathead, Freeman in for that stop. I'm just going to bring up the pit time again so we can see, Warboys, you stopped for 10.4 again, and Kale actually stopped for 12.3, so that's where the difference is. Easy to make up 2.5 seconds in the pit lane like that. Definitely doing a great job is James Scott though. As they both head into the lanes, watch if they see they get pulled up. Rattray White comes in behind. What does Hobson do? He's going to keep going. While the old crafty driver that he is. Ross, I'd expect to keep going. He stopped a lot later than everyone else in that first stop. Briggs stays out. Delaney stays out. O'Reilly was the leader of our two stoppers. So Scott and Rudd will both be out in front of him. O'Reilly coming out side by side with his teammate. He's got the jump on Rattray White. Great. Let's see what happens when these other ones come in. Aidan Cale in a bit of a battle here, trying to make a move on Stokes. Freeman in the middle of the action here as well, and Vlasbom. Oh, Cale, a little bit loose. Hangs on to it. And Greathead in a great little battle with Faulkner as well. The Wallboys getting the personal view of the battle in front.
Yeah, they got a couple of different lines between them, so Ben using a lot more of the track.
And of course, the Viz not too far in front of these two. There's probably at least another 3 left in this for you, Blakey.
It'll be hard fought, that's for sure.
Whereas Briggs, Delaney are in the lane. That only leaves Hobson and Ross as the last 2 guys to stop. It's not quite close enough to get sucked in like we did last time. Right, doing very well. Freeman just getting past Vlasbom, pulls that move off. And James Scott, he's only 5 seconds down the road from Jordan Ross. They're looking about 10 seconds stationary. They're only short stops at the lane here, but a long pit exit. Got back under this pack here.
Yeah, might get a bit feisty here at the end of the straight. Right on the back of Visma.
We're expecting someone to make a move. Viz holds the centre line as long as possible. Here we go. Roadhead has a look on the inside. Can't get the job done. That backs up Faulkner, backs up Warboys. Definitely turning into a tight little battle. As James Scott's just at the fastest lap with a 1:32.07. And Hobson's been down the lane and had service and come back out in 6th position. Just stay with this battle though at the moment. This is the closest battle on track. You thought about it, so did he.
Thought about it. Yeah.
Look,
Was wise to me there.
Looked at your real estate. That's what he did.
He's starting to drive a bit shallow here.
Yeah. There's Ross in the lane. Scott Rudd now 1-2. See where Ross comes out. If the rest of the order, O'Reilly and Rattray White get past. A lot closer this time. Isma being a lot more protective, coming into turn one. Warboys to the inside, thinks about it, tucks back in behind. Save it for another day. This time Graded has a look up the inside of Visma. He gets through. Faulkner tries to have a crack at it as well. Leaving Warboys now with a bit of an inside line. We're going to go 2x2 up the hill here. What does Visma do? He tries to hang tough. On Visma's a bit loose. Visma's gone. For Viz. Nice little 360 spin though. He's back on track. Didn't take long.
Nice save.
Nice save. Just lost 4 spots, but that's all right. He's still going.
Just caught that curve slightly wrong. Got a wrong bounce and then a side on side contact.
His time. Well, Visma calling that in as well, so I don't think there was too much in it, to be honest.
No, it's always handy just to, it puts your mind at ease knowing and stop thinking about it.
And this time, Faulkner goes defensive on Warboys. This is taking me back.
Yeah.
And Visma's car is going again. I think he's got a bit of damage, I think, in the car. I don't know why he was stuck on the side of the track. Front bumper bar just flew off.
Oh.
I don't recall that being in the original incident.
What, tyres maybe spun again?
Yeah, just going to have a quick look at something else. That's Steve Tonkin, Anthony Visma. He ended up stuck off the track there somewhere. And the car's definitely damaged. He's limping back to the pits. As just going to check on Rattray White. He's got past O'Reilly. Moves himself into third. So just the two team boys running together here. From Vermeulen. Ty Delaney, he's the other one in a bit of a battle. He's hanging on to the back of Johnstone. About 3/10 back. This is the battle for 8th and 9th. And Visma's managed to get himself back into the lane. He's done pretty well there. Of course, we've got this epic battle here. 3 cars with Greathead, Faulkner and Warboys.
Lock up from Greyhead, I think. Just checked us up.
Need a good
Can definitely
draw.
start to see the strengths and weaknesses of the setups.
Yeah, definitely learning where to tweak them.
Oh, Ben's a bit loose. We'll show the nose.
Shut the door on it pretty quick though. He'll definitely have his mirrors full.
Yeah, keep it. Do the old Craig Lowndes. Keep all the mirrors full. Force him into a mistake.
Not too many battles on track. Lap 33 of 35, nearly at the end here. Time starting to run out. Only got 2 more circuits after this one. Faulkner goes very defensive very early there. It's got to hang tough. He's a little bit loose. Good drive out of this corner here. Side by side action. Being tough through the next one. Goes a little deep. Warboy's up the inside. And drive up the hill here. And very defensive again from Faulkner. Oh, he closes the door across the line there. Of course, this battling allowing Greathead to get away. Jump on board, James Scott. At 34.35, second last lap. See what Warboys can do now in the draft. Faulkner trying to defend the inside. Oof. I was wondering where you were going. Great little drive. We'll come back to that one. It's going to go. Kyle Stokes is in a good little battle as well with Zach Blasbom. And, of course, Rattray White half a second ahead of O'Reilly. And Stokes, Blasbom side by side. Definitely some good quality racing here tonight. We've seen plenty of side-by-side action. Hope this is an indication of what we're going to see on Friday night. As James Scott takes the white flag. And tell me on board here. Adam Briggs just holding off Damien Johnstone. And Warboys and Faulkner. This is the last chance going down into turn one. Faulkner right on the wall. Warboys ducks to the outside. Kenny, hang on. A little bit of a tap. Probably enough to put you out of balance. I really need good drive out of this corner here. Put the pressure on down into the next corner. Faulkner goes very defensive. Freeman coming into this battle now as well. Warboys too wide. He's been touched. Big tap. Faulkner goes off. Warboys comes back in. Faulkner gonna carry the pace through. Definitely some tough, hard racing going on back here. Stokes and Vlasbom still side by side as well. We're going to jump up with this fella. You look up class and fast in the dictionary and you will see James Scott. That is another commanding drive. Getting the job done from Dylan Rudd. Rattray White going to work his way home in third. Great drive from him. O'Reilly in fourth. Fifth will be Brenton Hobson. Hobbo will be happy with that. Then we have Ross the Boss in sixth. Seventh, Damien Johnstone's going to hang on a hard charging Briggs and Delaney. And then Teo Serrano will bring it home in 10th. Lewis Greathead in 11th. Great drive from Lewis. Warboys not going to get the job done. Faulkner will come across the line. Not much in that. We're talking tenths. Hundredths of a second. Six hundredths of a second between Faulkner and Warboys. Up 12 spots. That's our hard charger. Ninth was Thomas Freeman. He got a bit of a look there at the end. Vlasbom and Stokes. Not much in them two as well. From what I can see, it's about 900ths of a second. And then Thomas, Kale, Tonkin, Mascord, Sell, Reg James, Bismarck managed to limp around enough to still get himself on the board as well. So that's a great to see him actually finish. That's a bit of a tough gig, Blake.
Yeah, that was good fun though. Good battle with the Vermilion boys there. Especially Ben at the end there. That was good.
Yeah, just going to have a quick look here at Visma's crash again. Just trying to work out how he lost the front end. He came back on and then he had a little bit of a tap with Freeman and then into the tyre barrier. So that's what's happened. So a little bit unlucky. But James Scott is our race winner. I think he'd be pretty chuffed with that one. A little bit of practice for Friday night. And looking forward to hearing what he's got to say when he comes in and has a chat to us. Definitely going to be a big night for him, I think, on Friday night. I think the battle between him and Phil Sell is going really, really well. And then we start introducing some of these co-drivers, such as Phil Sell racing with Kostecki. That's going to be a very, very powerful lineup. Looking forward to seeing what they can do.
So talk about A-grade teams in the main series, and there's a lot of A-grade teams in our virtual racing, so should make for some heated battles.
Yeah, I think we're just looking forward to seeing how they all play out and who we have come into those battles as well. It's a big gig for a lot of these new co-drivers as well. Like, we've got some of the regular lineups like Burton and Jones, Gamble and Ladder. That's going to be great to see how the Vets boys play that out. Andre Youssef, of course, as I said, Lewis Greathead, they're partnering up. Griffin Gardner racing with Damon Woods. Look forward to seeing that one. Matty Bowler and Rainer Costello. We know how fast Rainer can be at Bathurst. So really looking forward to seeing how that car goes. Like, you never really underestimate the RT boys when it comes to Enduros. Jabe Stewart and Ruben Goodall. That's a pretty impressive lineup in itself. Brady Myers with Ethan Warren. You all know how fast the Warrens are. Ethan's just a good karter. He's good in the sim as well. And of course, we've got Michael Whiting with Jamie Dyke, Luke Mitchison and Paul Young. So it's great to see Paul getting a drive Pro Series as well. Forward to that. Bo Albert with Scott McKay, Talianchich and Pereira, Ross and Stokes, Rosella and Payne. And that's Matt Payne. So that's another great lineup as well. But the great lineup we really want to talk to is the man that won. Well done, James.
Thanks, mate.
How'd you enjoy that one?
Yeah. First two stints really struggled. Last stint, car was a lot better. So don't know really why, but have to work out how to make it a bit better from the start.
Yeah, it looked like these guys struggled a little bit early. Dylan drove quite well as well. He kept you honest. He sort of didn't blast away like you normally do from the boys. So, like I said, you got plenty of work to do. Of course, with the Pro Series as well, you got to have the car that's going to be drivable for your co-driver, don't you?
Nah, just throw him into the deep end, mate, and hope he holds on.
I knew you'd say something like that. So, Dylan, how'd you find that one?
Yeah, it was good. Like James said, the setup wasn't ideal for the first two stints. Had to drive it a bit under the limit to keep the tyres on it, and then the last stint, kind of took off a little bit. So,
You reckon that's because the track might have rubbed in a bit more, or?
I'm not too sure. Maybe. Don't really know too much about that stuff. So.
And Zach, you're in the thick of the battle again.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. not used to racing these guys so much, so still getting used to it.
Oh, it was good, mate. You and Jacob didn't let them walk over you. It was good to watch a bit of side by side, a little bit of panel bashing, as we like to call it. How are you guys getting organised for Friday night?
Not too bad, clearly, but bit of the same deal. Got a bit of work to do just to make it a bit better, but yeah, going all right.
Going all right. And I'll throw over to my special guest co-commentator for the night. Blake, anything you want to ask?
Oh, don't really know. Probably just how to get a bit quicker. Nah, just guess predictions for the first Enduro. What are people thinking?
Yep, going to be a tough one. Looks like there's a lot of variable speed with the co-drivers. So yeah, should be interesting.
Barrett and Bush would have to be a pretty good setup, though.
Yep, yeah, nope, spot on the money there. No doubt about that one.
Well, all will be revealed on Friday night. So, of course, make sure you go to the Australian Sim Racing Group or SimSpeed. Check it out. Racing qualifying will kick off. Racing kicks off at 7:30. So, yeah, make sure you're definitely around for that one. All these boys will be in action, including Blake himself with young Harrison back in the chair, which is good to see. Yeah, all these boys will be in action. Anyone you want to give a shout out to for the team, James?
Yep, all the guys at Lobs. Clearly got a little bit of work to do, but I'm sure we'll be able to get it sorted. Doing okay. Hybrid racing simulations. Ryko performance. Shout out to those guys. Couldn't do without them. And then all you guys for the broadcast and race control and everyone else.
Yeah, good to be back. That's all I'm going to say after the last 2 weeks where I've been working. Zach, anyone you want to give a shout out to, mate?
Yeah, just the same. Thanks to Dylan and James for racing that. That was good fun. All the VM guys putting in a bucket load of laps, and yeah, all of our sponsors as well.
Too easy. And, of course, next week, round 10. So we've got 3 rounds left in the season. So we've got 175k race next week, which I think was a driver's choice circuit. Which I'm not 100% certain where Ash ended up falling with all that. And then round 11, we're at Sandown for 2 100k sprint races. And then we finish at Oran Park, of all places. So really looking forward to that one. Been a long time since I've seen anyone in the sim even racing at Oran Park. So that'll be good. I think a bit of a challenge for you younger blokes because you wouldn't know what that place is. On that note, that covers everything off. A huge thank you, of course, to Blake Warboys for driving and commentating. Probably not the easiest thing to do. Probably did a little bit better than Nathan. That's all I'm going to say.
Definitely not as chatty as Nathan is, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, Nathan.
Did my best. Hopefully I did Nathan proud.
You did. There's a few. You allowed me to get my breath when I needed to. So we're Nathan's the complete opposite. I'm the one filling in the breath.
Yeah.
And, of course, a huge thank you to Supercheap Auto, Donga Carts and Parts, Pool Guys, Barella Cabinets, BCF, MacPack, Rebel, and, of course, our safety car sponsor, Complete Scaffold. Unfortunately, safety car not required tonight, but I'm sure we will see it again before the end of the season. And, of course, a huge thank you to everybody out in the chat that's been watching. Really appreciate everybody jumping in. Apologies again for missing the last 2 rounds. But I should be here for the rest of the season, hopefully. And on that note, we will see everybody again, hopefully next week. Thanks for watching.
There's no arguing that people love their cars.
We weren't arguing.
And people who love their cars love to tinker with them. Some people tinker big, some people tinker small. And that's where Supercheap Auto comes in. We've been helping people tinker for 50 years. For people like Bill, Lucy, Kevin, other Kevin.
Oi, get off my car!
Didn't catch this guy's name. Not Patrick. He doesn't shop with us. Whoever you are, whatever you drive, we'll help you make it super.